Welcome to Coffee Hour number 2. I'm your host, Echo Fan Grey Wolf, and this is part 2 about these Pretendians. Now, you're going to probably get 3 of these videos, some long-winded as fuck. But let me start over. When I got on TikTok, I didn't have any Pretendian issues over here on Instagram. I didn't have any there either. Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. My only Pretendian issue was on TikTok. I didn't have any issues over here. I'm pretty sure I don't have any issues over here yet, but I'm pretty sure that if they came from YouTube to TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, then they're everywhere now. So when I first got on TikTok, I only had to fight YT Pretendians or white Pretendians, which, for the definition, a Pretendian is a person who's claiming to have Native American heritage but have no Native American heritage, and they can be anybody but an actual Native American and be called a Pretendian. Now, this may lax a little bit when it comes down to the indigenous people of Mexico, who are still also American Indians by blood, by tribe, etc. But because of that little thing called borders, they don't get federally recognized or state recognized as American Indians. They are pretty much just called Mexican. But Mexicans are actually Native Americans too. So, and specifically not the nationality ones, but the ones that are Mexican by blood. Alright? So Aztec, Incan, Mexica, etc., etc., all those tribes from Mexico all the way down to the ass in Chile, they are still indigenous Americans, which makes them American Indians. Alright? So now that we got all that out the way, hold on. I got a native lady in my ear right now. In fact, just let me go and cut that off. My first dealing with Pretendians were YT Pretendians. There was a guy on TikTok who dressed up like a Tango warrior from the Power Rangers with Lord Zed and Rito Repulsa and Ivan Ooze. He looked like one of them. His suit was damn right. Yeah, his suit was down. It was awesome. And had he been a native, like a real native, there wouldn't have been a fucking problem with the native community. But he was not a native community or a Native American in any way, shape, or form. Other issues came with a teacher who still has her job because she made a video in front of a native kid talking about Sakatoa and how he stomped his toe. She did Sakatoa dance, and the school board still let her keep her job. The other people was the school board of 2 schools, high schools. These 2 native girls spent their sophomore and junior years beating their gowns for their senior years, and the schools both said, no, we're not going to let you do that. There was another teacher who wouldn't let a young kid who was of Mexican ethnicity, or racially, he was a Native American, but he was just from Mexico, and he wanted to bring in his family regalia and talk about his family regalia, and again, the school said no. And then during all this time, Modern Warrior was kicking everybody's ass, calling everybody colonizers, getting everybody straight, and then he unfortunately fell from grace. I have a lot of female Native activists that I follow and support, and I leave their names off because I don't want to get any woman in any danger on the internet. Motherfucker come for me. Any one of these things right here, I'm going to use on you, and they just garden tools. Wait till you see what I can do with a fucking spoon. Anyway, so on top of all that, everything was peachy, and we were handling white Pretendians, and it was just going very fucking well. And then COVID hit, and when COVID hit, black Indians started coming out of nowhere. They started riding griffins, dragons, dinosaurs, hot glue feathers, and going around making all of us black people look stupid. And yes, I am part black. You read that motherfucking bio, it's got the Pt2 tribe, it's got black, and then it's got white. Now, as far as the Pt2 tribe is, I'm really not trying to reconnect with that because my great-grandmother is a Chickahominy out of Charles City. I'm going to go and try to connect with them. And I was well on my way, had money saved up and everything, so I could go down there for at least a whole day, maybe get a hotel, and leave the next morning. Unfortunately, a family member needed the money. I gave her the money, and then the black Pretendians showed up in droves. And they had guys on these goddamn platforms on YouTube, on TikTok, mostly on TikTok, moving cups, saying they were wizards and all kinds of other shit, and talk about some they gods this and they gods that, and now they were Moors and then they were Indians, and the black people are having a major fucking identity crisis. And then you got famous people who I no longer respect or admire popping up with this same racial bullshit. And that bullshit is that black people were here before 1492. We were not here before 1492. Do not believe Tariq Manik Mahuka, whatever the fuck his damn name is. Do not believe Dana Calloway. Do not believe Earth Speaks. Do not believe the Roll the Corn guy, the motherfucking Panther guy. None of these motherfuckers is telling y'all the truth. They're just taking your money from you. If you think you're indigenous because these motherfuckers are saying it, you're gonna fucking be homeless really fucking soon because these guys are giving them all their money. Now, granted, most deaf, Ice Cube, Charlamagne the God probably ain't getting no money from y'all, but they're getting money from somewhere because they full fucking well know before COVID, none of these motherfuckers were saying a goddamn thing about black people being Native Americans. None of them. And then it got worse when the black people showed up and said that the black people were the American Indians and the Native Americans were the Native Americans, when black people know damn well that Native Americans and American Indians are the same people. Christopher Dumbass made a mistake thinking that he was going to India and wound up in the West Indies, Puerto Rico, Caribbean, that kind of shit. And then black people just started running with that shit. And then they tried to say, well, you guys lived in teepees while we lived in houses. We had electricity and y'all had fire. And then Flat Earth happened. And then Egypt and America happened. And black people just started looking incredibly fucking stupid from there. I mean, this shit is fucking unacceptable. How stupid these motherfuckers have made us look. And now we got people from the continent of Africa laughing at us. Continental Africans that live in Canada and England and all over Europe and even Africa are laughing at every black American on the fucking face of America right now. And telling them, you guys are fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid. Now, we got some racist natives doing the same shit. Now, they won't gonna get a pass on this app. No. I am triracial. I don't have the right to be racist. I have the right to call everybody's racist ass out on it. Alright? I have that right. Because I am part native, I am part black, I am part white. Now, what y'all fail to understand is that Afro-Indigenous people are the ones taking the most hits because these motherfuckers they black and they native. But the racist natives don't like them because they're part black. Been there, done that. But I'm not Afro-Indigenous because I'm triracial. And then you got the black people who are just purely fucking idiots going around hollering and screaming that we ain't black, we indigenous. Singing songs and concerts. And on my recent TikToks, I literally made 2 posts. One about this young black woman who swears she's indigenous, got the Cherokee headband and trying to sell it online. And this shit's illegal. If you are trying to sell anything and you are not an American Indian or Native American and you are not enrolled in a federally or state recognized tribe, you're going to fuck the prison. And it's your own damn fault because you fucking know. Alright, let me explain something. Most of the time, the only way that you would not know your ancestors if they passed before you were born. Alright? Or the unfortunate event that you got adopted out of the family and you got adopted away from the tribe, and your ancestor that went through all that shit just assimilated into whiteness and moved on. You know, because a lot of natives did that in the 60s and 70s, and they were adopted and never tried to go back because all of the native was basically taken out of them. They had this plan way back in the day called Kill the Indian and Save the Man. That's what led to the boarding schools. That's what led to all the other bullshit that the Native American people have gone through, which again the Pretendians tried to use that. There was this chick on TikTok, and I'm the only one who has not forgiven her. I'm not going to give y'all her name because, like I said, to be fair, I'm not going to put a woman's name out here and put her ass in danger. But this bitch jumped up and said that the boarding schools were trying to teach Native Americans how to be black people, which is not the case. The boarding schools was unaliving. Fuck that. The boarding school was raping little babies and murdering babies and throwing them in the furnace. And if you didn't speak the language, they stuck stuff in your tongues, they stuck stuff in your hands, they had these knuckle rocking devices, anything possible they could possibly do to a child, turned the kid's hand purple for cutting off the circulation, you name it. That happened to the American Indians, it did not happen to black people. I'm sorry if that hurts your motherfucking feelings, and whoever the fuck you are believing, don't fucking believe them. I had a Native American great-grandmother. She taught me folklore. I only got to see her in the summertime. So out of my entire time that she was born, from 73 to 83, I've only missed 2 summers of my life with her. My last summer with her is the summer that she died, and that was in 83. So I have memories of her in green refrigerator magnets. They're shaped like fruit. And a green refrigerator on top of that. She had 2 legs one summer, then she had 1 leg one summer, then she had no legs in the last couple of summers before she passed in '83. Alright? Now, as a mixed person, I also grew up knowing that I was never really going to be black and never really going to be white. And I never had a Native American problem until I got into my 20s. And I had 2 in the same day. Just 2. These 2 brothers didn't want nothing to do with me because I was part Native, part black, part white. And I was trying to talk to their niece, and they told me that I wasn't a pure Native. They don't want their bloodline tainted. Don't talk to their niece. And I threatened to roll one into an oak tree, and I threatened to roll the other one into oncoming traffic. Did I handle that shit the best way? No. But fuck them. Because I didn't ask to be mixed. I didn't get a choice in the fucking shit. You born Native, you blessed to be Native. Amen. I'm born mixed. I didn't get a choice in it. I'm blessed to be mixed. I'm blessed to be alive. It took me a long time to get to the love yourself point in life. I got there before I got out of high school, though. And in high school, my worst thing was my job at Kegler's here in Charlottesville, Virginia. My boss let a customer call me chief for 3 years. And every fucking day, I complained to my boss. And my boss, shout out to Frank Stoner, looked me dead in my face and said the customer was always right. Even when he wasn't. Even when it was racist. And they spent that with, well, he's just celebrating the fact that you're part Native American. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not what he's doing, dude. I literally asked this man every day to call me James, not Chief. And he just all out fucking refuses to call me James. It's always Chief. For 3 years straight, back to back to back. And he knew my work schedule. I come to work at 4 to 11. He be there from 4 till it's time to go home. I didn't get off at 11 on Fridays. I rarely got off before 2 o'clock in the morning, which was illegal at the time, but nobody gave a shit because I was 16 and I was a boy. So nobody gave a fuck, you know. And that's just how it was until I graduated when I could finally fucking just quit the job. But prior to that, it was always, the customer's always write this, the customer's always write that. It was never, you know, let me respectfully make this motherfucker stop. No. He didn't make the man stop at all. He just indulged in the fact that this guy was pissing me off, calling me chief every day. Also, the movie Renegades came out with Lou Diamond Phillips and Kiefer Sutherland before he or after he was one of the Lost Boys. I can't really remember. It doesn't really fucking matter because every time this man called me chief, I picked up Lou Diamond Phillips' character's personality and I started getting mad because this motherfucker would call me chief every goddamn day at work. Every day. And I mean, this motherfucker would come in and I swear to God, I don't know where he kept the quarters. I don't know if it was a fanny pack. I don't know what he kept them in. But he never ran the fuck out of quarters. I swear to fucking God, from 4 to fucking midnight, this motherfucker played the same 5 to 7 damn songs every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm like, where the fuck is this dude getting all these goddamn quarters from? He never played the arcade. He always was at the jukebox. I got friends in low places, gonna go on down to the oasis, and I got friends. And the other one was Achy Breaky Heart. Don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. I just don't think you'll understand. Cause if you tell my heart, my achy breaking thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. But most of all, the thunder rose. And I can't remember the other song, but the only other song after that, the only song that wasn't like sad or about dancing and looking at people's butts, but a little bit like looking at people's butts. It's Alan Jackson's. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, me and my girlfriend do the oochie coochie. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, we drive our Jeeps, cause that's where it's scoochy. I don't know all the words to the goddamn song. I used to know the words to all the fucking songs that he played, cause he played them every fucking day. Any fucking hat. The point being made is that I was fighting white Pretendians first. And now I'm fighting black Pretendians. The white Pretendians were bad. And I mean they were bad. At their worst, the worst thing I seen them do was a lady was in a Pocahontas dress with a rope around her hands and a cowboy and a horse was pulling her down the street. That was the worst I saw, and I wasn't happy. I made a video about it, and if you're on my YouTube page of, I mean not YouTube, my TikTok page of JW_GrayWolf616, aka EFG, you can go find that video. I never delete anything off that, and I don't record my lives, because all my lives are martial arts. But you can go find it. And then the other thing they did was the school board and all the other stuff. And then in between that, the MMIW thing got a little bit bigger. And it went from MMIW to MMIW and G. Then it went from MMIW G and B. And then it went from MMIW G, B, and Two Spirits. And I just evolved that bitch to MMIP because I was like, you know what, y'all can call it MMIW. I'm going to call this shit MMIW. Never. I'm going to call it MMIP because it makes more sense to cover everybody. Because Two Spirits are like alphabet community. Alright? So like if you were gay or whatever the fuck else there is, I'm sorry if you're alphabet community. I love y'all. I respect y'all. I'm not dating any of y'all or any of that shit because that's just not how I roll. But I still love y'all and respect y'all. I got 2 family members in the alphabet community. I will protect the alphabet community till my dying breath, provided that you don't do anything stupid. But everybody does stupid shit. But then they just started in, and then like the murders just kept picking up. Frank Young was the first murderer that I covered because he was 5 years old, man, and he went missing. 2 days later they found the shoe, and 3 days after that they found his body. He was 5. He was 5 fucking years old when I first got on TikTok, and I was accepted by a lot of Native activists that were female, and I would explain to them, I'm not a full-blooded Native. Just like y'all all gonna be coming home at some point at some time. You just got here a little bit earlier. I said, nah, because I'm 40-something at the time. I said, I wish I would have started doing this shit earlier. And I do hope that anybody that's trying to reconnect or reclaim, that you go in with an open mind and you go in your 20s and your teens. Don't wait till you're like fucking 40, 50 years old to start reconnecting. Start reconnecting right now. I waited because I had other issues that I needed to attend to. And I already knew that I was part Native anyway, so it wasn't like this other stuff was important. I have no intention of enrolling in a tribe unless they will let me keep the name Echo Fang Grey Wolf as my Native name. But I also don't really want to enroll because I'm not sure what it's going to do to my military status when I'm finally able to get full retirement or full benefits for them fucking up my leg. I'm also wasn't willing to enroll because there are people who are going to need whatever they're going to get more than me. But the Pretendians, on the other hand, they are out for money. They're not out for anything else. They talk about land grabs, land patents, because they want a piece of land. They want to own the land. They also think that they're going to get a casino and all this other shit. And they don't even understand that a lot of natives be dirtier to their people on these motherfucking casinos. Because a lot of natives ain't for the natives. Same thing with the BIA. A lot of them ain't for the fucking natives. They about themselves and their pockets, but they ain't about lining everybody up equally. But the Pretendians don't get that, and the Pretendians don't know. So they just assume what they're doing is right, and it's not. Now, once COVID hit, the black gods, the black Indians, all these motherfuckers started showing up. I put out a challenge to a person out there who said that he was a black god and that he could show up anywhere, everywhere, whenever, whatever. And I said, okay, cool. I didn't give my address. I said, I live in Charlottesville, Virginia. If you a god, I expect to see you in the next couple of days. I said, you might whoop my ass. Hell, you might kill me. But I'm going to see if I can make a god bleed. Like Leonidas said in the 100 or the 300 or whatever the fuck that movie was about Spartans. And I'm still waiting, by the way. I showed my backyard. My nephew's car was still back here. And, I'm like, all right, well, we're going to wait and see if this motherfucker going to show up. Because if he going to show up, we good. If he going to show up, I'm still waiting. He still ain't showed up. I got my axe and stuff ready. He ain't showed up. He still ain't showed up. I've been waiting for about 5 years for this motherfucker to show up. And all this shit, again, happened in the midst of COVID. Black people were not doing this shit before COVID. We knew who the fuck we were. We were Wakanda forever and all kinds of other shit. Avengers was good. Endgame was great. Everything was going great. And all of a sudden, black Indians showed up with this. We ain't black, we indigenous, and we were here before 1492, yet they don't have no fucking archaeological, geological proof. And then I have been telling them this on TikTok for the last few months. Get off the fucking app. Go to fuck the school. Get a job. And prove it. You know, get a job and prove that we were here before 1492. I'm just trying to make sure that my alarm doesn't go off to ruin this goddamn video. So get a job. Prove that we were here before 1492. Come on. We're waiting. You want to prove it? Become a paleontologist, an archaeologist, or whatever job in science that allows you to play with dirt, do some excavating. It doesn't make you a construction worker. You know? Get that job. Because that's the only way you're going to prove that we were here before 1492. Ice Cube don't know what the fuck he talking about. And before anybody says Ice Cube can sue, no, he cannot, because it was on a Roland Martin video where he literally said, we are the real American Indians. And I stopped liking that motherfucker right then, right there. Ice Cube ain't never played a Native American. Ice Cube ain't never rapped about a Native American. And let me explain something to y'all. I know I'm part Native. I know I was raised black. But I at least know this dude's 2.5 or 3 years older than me. It's about the age of my sister. I'm 52. My sister doesn't acknowledge our nativeness. She only acknowledges our blackness. But our mama is YT passing. It's not that difficult. Every one of my mama's children has a different color. From the brightest of lights to the darkest of darks. We got one sibling that's the brownest of us. Everyone else is fair and brown. I'm high yellow. The sister under me is off-white. My younger brother is above the sister under him is off-white. They look like two white children. The rest of us look like we kids that she adopted from different nations. But my mom is very white passing. I've lost her in front of white people twice since my father died. My dad looked black. His dad was black. His mama was Native and black, or his mama was Native just brown. Her mama was damn sure Native. My grandma, my mama's mama, is Native and black. So we can't deny our blackness for damn sure. My mama's daddy was a quadroon or octoroon, white passing until the day we put his ass in a box. That's it. I was 6 when he died. You know, and just like my mama's kids, my grandma's kids also came in a variety of motherfucking colors. Our darkest uncle, I believe, would be my Uncle Sam. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was my Uncle Sam. Everybody else is just fair brown. But we know we mixed. We don't all acknowledge that shit. I acknowledge it, but everybody else just tends to go off. One of my uncles has 2 sons that look like they could be white boys. They just don't have white people hair. We know we mixed. We have no way around it. We can't fake it, and nobody in my family can get up on this bitch. Echo's lying. Y'all already know my real name is James Williams Jr. and Echo Fan Grey Wolf is my stage name, so that when I finally get my career off the ground, the world's going to know me as Echo Fan Grey Wolf instead of James Williams Jr. because James Williams has failed in acting for 30 fucking plus years. Echo Fan Grey Wolf is just getting started. Alright? But the point being made is, now the black Pretendians are all over the place. And it all started with Ice Cube, and Mos Def, Tariq, Mashik, Manute, whatever the fuck his goddamn name is, Optimus goddamn Prime. And then you got Danielle Calloway, whatever the fuck his damn name is. Then on TikTok, you got Earth Speaks, the Panther God, the Roll of the Corn guy, the other guy who believes the earth is flat, the Sphinx was shot off in Arizona or some shit by Napoleon from the Atlantic Ocean, which would be a hell of a fucking shot. He'd have to get a whole lot of motherfucking momentum, a cannonball from the Atlantic Ocean to come all the way across the entire face of the United States and not hit anything but this imaginary Sphinx. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with as black people. Other black people who are making us look incredibly fucking stupid. You can't make this shit up at how stupid these motherfuckers are making us. They don't know shit about Native American folklore. Somehow, some magical book I never heard of with Queen Khalifa. Now, I know about the Bridge of Terabithia, and I know about the Lord of the Rings, and I know about Harry motherfucking Potter. I don't read that shit. I did read Lord of the Rings. I did watch the animated movie, and then I watched the real movies. That's where it ends. Now, griffins are Egyptian and Greek and sometimes Roman mythology. Nothing to do with Native Americans. Native Americans ain't never heard of no goddamn griffins before the residential schools beat the native out of them and turned them basically into white. Which, by the way, we'll go on to that. The plan: kill the Indians, save the man. That's what the residential schools were for. To beat the native out of you and turn you into a white person, even though you physically would not be white, you would still be native. They sterilized native women the same way they sterilized black women, because we were a blight on the fucking civilization in which they were trying to take. Then they turned back around and decided, okay, well, we can't beat them. We'll poison them with sugar and alcohol. So residential schools didn't have that, but reservations had that. Then you had territories where you weren't allowed off territories. After sundown, you had to be on territories where the hunting parties would scalp you. Pretendians don't know nothing about that shit. They also don't know about Bigfoot, Coyote, Deer Woman, goddammit, not Tomahawk, goddammit, what is his name? Thunderbird, and a few other native deities. Those are the only ones I'm going to give you because all of those are in my Love 13 book in the ice god from Alaskan folklore, but I can't remember her fucking name. But I retweaked some of those. I tweaked the Deer Womans a little bit. I tweaked Sasquatches a little bit. I tweaked Coyote the Tricksters. I tweaked the Ravens. I tweaked Thunderbirds, and I tweaked the Inuit goddess of ice or whatever, and I turned her into a little girl, forever to be a little girl riding on the back of a fucking polar bear. None of that shit's true, but I'm not Inuit, so I figured if I manipulated the folklore just a little bit, it would make a great story. And then Love 13, you got unicorns, dragons, and the unicorns are black. The dragons, I think, maybe one appearance, if any. I'm not going to swear that they make pins, but they do exist because they're all in Shangri-La. The final battle takes place in Shangri-La over the body of a soulless child. The old man who wants to be immortal needs a body without a soul so that he can put his soul in that body. His daughter and her black boyfriend are trying to stop him. And that's the 13 warriors that are female, plus the men that are helping. It's kind of like got a combination of Power Rangers and other supernatural shit. And all the women are the heroes of the book. And it's called the Legion of Vengeful Enchantress, every bit Love 13, the acronym. And it all starts in a real place. It's just not a real story of real people. The person carrying the child has to be a virgin. So the Indian man does some dream walking and impregnates a 14-year-old girl. You see the sick fuck shit that's going on? And now the old man wants to become that baby's body, regardless of what the gender is, because he's got his will set for that child versus his own child. Alright? Anyway, it's got a fairly decent ending. Now, getting that out of the way is kind of a fucked up ass thing. And Sundown, what I'm working on now, is basically no magic, no native folklore, but there is native detectives, and there is a missing and murdered indigenous person. But she's not missing. She does get murdered, and she also gets SA'd in the first goddamn chapter. She gets raped by the police, the sheriff's son of a neighboring town, which is the Sundown town, which is why the goddamn book is called Sundown. I'm on the last fucking chapter. Anyway, through the whole book, there's stuff that get done, and now I'm at the final fight. I'm at the boss battle. But dealing with that isn't half as bad as dealing with this motherfucking Pretendians who think that somehow or another they had dragons, griffins, dinosaurs, giants, telepathic powers, and telekinetic. But there was the whole fucking X-Men, and they could control all these animals and shit. And somehow or another, white people came here in Zeppelins, beat their ass after the Native Americans of the day came across the land bridge, beat their ass, stole all their culture, stole all their names, stole all their drums and weapons. And then somehow, the white people came in the Zeppelins. They went to Africa in the Zeppelins. They kidnapped a whole bunch of fucking African people and flew them back over here in the Zeppelins. Wiped out the today's natives, plus the black natives, and put everybody in fucking chains. That's their fucking story. And I'm like, you motherfuckers are on some serious booger sugar. Your pharmaceutical levels are way up here. It's too many of them. And this is the shit that I'm dealing with online. And it's every day. It's like these motherfuckers don't have a job. you cannot cut on your TikTok without seeing this shit. I mean, there's just no motherfucking escaping it. Like, at all. There's no escaping it. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I'm part Native, I'm part black, I'm part white. I gotta try to save my motherfucking people. But I gotta try to save both people. So we're gonna go to part 3 because I know I've been talking for about 30 minutes or better. And yep, 30 minutes. So I'm gonna make one last video and we're gonna call it